I'm really lucky to be with Ian, who's the Chief Executive of the Forum of Private Business. I know quite a lot about Forum of Private Business because I worked with them over very many years and I've always used a lot of their research. What I thought we'd do is, Ian's involved in our Network of Networks session a little bit later on, which is great, and there'll be lots of questions from Twitter and from Facebook to Ian and the other panelists, if you like. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about, today is a day about recognition as well for micro businesses. And people actually, recognising our importance to employment, to the economy, to society, to communities, to families and various things. So I want to ask Ian what his take is on the UK particularly, as to the environment for micro biz owners and what he thinks we can do about it as a membership organisation, us as Micro Biz Matters and various things. So I think my first question is, if you like, I've been running my own businesses for about 31 years now, if you like, and my take on it is that the UK is actually beginning to fall further and further behind many other countries in terms of actually recognising the importance of micro business owners. They don't seem very proud anymore to me, Ian, of people like me. What's your take on it?
I think it goes a bit deeper than that.
Right.
They don't reward entrepreneurs when the great guy. I don't think government have ever been so far detached from the small business community, which, as you say, drives 90% of the 99% of the UK companies are small businesses.
Exactly.
And they just don't have a grasp on the issues that are faced by small businesses and owner-operators. We have a different way of doing things. We're the jacks of all trade. We're running a business, government makes a change, we try and deal with it. That's our first, but you'll be the same. You go, right, how do I deal with this?
Exactly.
Have a crack at it.
Exactly.
I can either do this or I'm going to get my accountant or get somebody else to do it. And government just don't seem to realise the issues, the opportunities that we've got. And we've got to do something about that. We've got to get we've got to get government more involved. Why aren't ministers getting out, visiting small businesses, getting closer to the small business community? Because I think that's the key driver. Because it's never been easier to set up a small business with the technology. If you've got an idea and the way technology is, we're recording things here on iPhones, you can set stuff up, your marketing, get out and do it. But they're making it difficult for us to do business.
Yes.
And they're not really rewarding entrepreneurs, the little rewards that you could get, things like paying the dividend and the change on the dividend tax.
Absolutely.
That was a big deal. You and I set up a company. We didn't have 12-month contracts.
Exactly.
You were living hand to mouth. If you had a good year, at the end of the year, you paid yourself a bit of a dividend. You got a tax break on it. So what? You're the one that's taking all the risk and setting it up. So
you're a man after my own heart. Absolutely. But what's wrong with the environment? Is it our fault as business owners that we're not putting our head above the parapet and actually shouting hard enough, or is it just the fact? I mean, I'll give you an example. I had a friend of mine helped with University Enterprise and went back to. She's still only 28, something like that. Went back to Canada, and she's created Startup Canada. And in the years that we've been developing this Micro Biz Matters movement, if you like, she's created this massive Startup Canada, where business owners are helping other business owners all the way through Canada on how to start up their business. It's like, she calls it an ecosystem. Does that make sense?
It does.
Where it's actually in the blood that. It kind of starts with respect, I think. What do you think us as business owners need to do? Or should we be leaving it to people like you on our behalf? What should we do to get... Because there has to be this government cultural change in attitude. That's the first thing that's got to happen, isn't it?
And I think there's two elements to that. I think there's a number of business organisations out there. They're all very good at getting the members' voices.
Yes.
But increasingly, when we try and do research and engage with businesses, it's very difficult now. Yeah, part of that's us. We've got to change the idea of doing big research pieces. It's quite difficult, but through social media, we can do quick surveys. But really, we need the small businesses to engage with us, to give us the messages, to give us the stories. You and I thrive on, if we've got good stories to tell, we can tell those to government and it engages with them. So I think it's two things. I think it's us doing our job very well, those representative bodies that are out there, but also we need the businesses themselves to engage with us, to give us the stories, give us the ammunition, we'll fire the bullets, as you well know. So I think it's a partnership thing between the two of us, and maybe we've been not very good at maybe shouting as loud as we should be, and we need to do something about that and get government to listen. I'm also an optimist. There are positive things out there. There's a new small business commissioner who, from meeting him, seems very switched on to the needs of small businesses. I'm hoping he has the powers and the authority to make some changes.
Let's hope so.
And we can engage with people like that.
What do you think about operating costs? In terms of what's happened to our basic operating costs. So we're talking about, it's not just taxation that you've talked about, but it's utilities, it's transport. I mean, there's a massive outcry of public transport. Our health service is in a bit of a mess, and that's costing people money because micro-business owners can't afford not to be continuing working, can they? So what do you think about the whole operating costs? So we've got this situation where the unemployment figures would be tragic if it wasn't for people becoming self-employed.
Absolutely.
But the operating costs are actually getting higher, faster than the earnings of the business owners.
You've nailed it, and it was something that you said right at the start about small businesses. If you're not looking after small businesses, you're not rewarding them, the costs are going up, auto-enrolment, we're going to make tax digital now, so in other words, we'll give it all for you to do. All those costs, for an owner-operator, that's a big deal. It means I'm doing all the compliance stuff rather than doing what I should be doing, which is growing and developing the business. So is it any surprise that we're seeing an increased number of small businesses not failing, but just going, to hell with this, I'll get a job. Because it's easier. It's actually a damn sight easier, as you know, go work for somebody else. So we are seeing that's the worrying thing for me, is that we're seeing some small business owners taking the decision that actually I'll not try and grow this enterprise. I'll get myself a little full-time job somewhere. It's easier and my life's more straightforward. That worries me. We've got a great history of entrepreneurial spirit in this country, of inventors, innovators, creators. And I think we're starting to create a climate where people are going, it's just not working. And that's worrying. That is concerning. We've got to do something about that.
Yes, because a lot of people don't realise it's not just the red tape and all these things around the business. It's the time taken in compliance and the bureaucracy of it all. That is the real cost, isn't it? Because we're time poor, aren't we? That is the thing that, and so in the end you say, look, I don't have the opportunity to earn any money because I'm actually spending all my time on this other stuff.
I'm working 9 to 5 on my business, then I'm going home, then I'm doing my books, my VAT, I'm trying to do most owner-operators don't work 9 to 5. It's weekends, you're getting phone calls, you're dealing with things. You don't switch off. It is your life.
Exactly.
And it's what you're doing, and it can be very satisfying. But you've got to give people. So there's got to be some reward, some benefit at the end of that. Where's the carrot? And if you're taking all the carrots away and just providing more and more things that eat into time, and you've hit on the main one is the time, then people are going to struggle. And I think we've got to create a more healthy environment for entrepreneurs that develops future entrepreneurs, that helps them get into business, and that rewards them for doing that, for taking that risk, for putting their life on hold for 4 or 5 years while they develop the next successful business. And that's where, you mentioned falling behind. I think that's the danger, that if we don't do that, we lose that very important part of the economy.
What do you think about, and I know the forum is brilliant in terms of actually, what can I call it, technical help in a whole massive number of generic areas. I've got a problem, a legal problem, I've got a staff problem, I've got a whatever, health and safety problem. You're the people to come to, and you sort that out. And that is day-to-day management. It's the way we actually work. We need instant help kind of
Absolutely.
thing, which is a fantastic service you provide. What would you say is the most the single thing that the Small Business Commissioner could do to actually make it easier for people in their first 18 months to 3 years of action? Let's say 18 months, if you like. Because one of the things that we think the government just doesn't understand is how long it actually takes to start earning, for a start.
Yeah.
And surely there has got to be some ways of Small Business Commissioner treating businesses in their first 18 months in a different way, so that a lot of them do actually say, bloody hell, if I'd known it was going to be like this, it's not worth it. Or, as I've been talking about with Charlie there, it's always encouraging people to take on staff as the only way really to build your business, especially apprentices and things. Is a massive advocate for that. But a lot of people feel so drowned by a lot of the other stuff around them that adding on more bureaucracy and in fact of a member of staff in that first 18 months doesn't seem possible. What would you like to say to the Small Business Commissioner about early stage businesses, really? Is it about business advice? Is it, what would you say?
I don't think there's ever one magic bullet.
Okay.
But, an opinion, if there's one thing that they could do, is stop treating all businesses the same, one generic, and you see that particularly in government communication.
Yeah.
They'll put out something, a lot of us got this letter through about identifying people of significant control in your business. Sounds fairly straightforward. I'm a reasonably educated guy. Having worked out I was one, I then struggled a bit. You then go to the explanatory notes that HMRC put out, and they're 62 pages long, at which case you kind of give up all hope. I think if government started to recognise that there is a difference between small business and larger businesses who have the resources, who have HR teams, who have legal teams, recognise what small businesses are and the issues they face, and start communicating to them in the right way. Simplify things. Simplification is a great thing. Really simplify it and use social media. Put little video clips together. Don't just take all your government bureaucracy, paperwork, stick it online and say that's my job done, because it isn't. Really start looking at simple, clear communication for small businesses, particularly those that are starting up. Easy and simple help that they can understand would be a very, very good place to start.
And that's visual help. That's really important. That's the way everybody learns nowadays, isn't it?
Technology's there.
It's mobile phones, frankly, isn't it? It's like,
and if I get home at night, there's more chance of me watching a brief 5-10 minute clip on YouTube with my iPad on my lap than me is trying to read through a load of government bureaucracy. So do that. Use animations, cart it, all sorts of stuff. There can be a lot more creative in the communication and make it simple.
Fantastic. That was really good. Last question for you, Ian. You're supporting Microbiz Matters Day, and we really appreciate your support. Thank you. Why do you support Microbiz Matters Day?
It's very simple, because small and micro businesses drive the UK economy. And they are the most, from my point, and I would say that's a small business organisation, the potential members, but it is the most important part of the economy. And for us at the Forum, it's a mission really to support those small businesses and help them develop and grow. Simple as that.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Ian.
Pleasure.
Really good.
Cheers,
Thank you.
All right.